Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Vampire Coast vs. Dark Elf showdown. It's going to be Count Noctilus facing off against, I believe, a Supreme Sorceress of Fire or Death. Usually that's what you see. Fireballs are very good at sniping lords, artillery pieces, monsters, and, Spirit Leech a little bit more consistent, but of course doesn't have that raw punching power. Well, I guess it can. Now, as far as my army goes here, it is going to be a zombie pirate deckhand mobs with bombers here in the front line. Bombers, of course, very good against Druchii infantry and lightly armored infantry in general. A little bit outdated, though. I've kind of found in my playtesting that generally the bombers, they aren't what they used to be, but they can still perform pretty well. So my front line is bombers as well as the deckhand mob. Secondary line is going to be some handguns. We got 4 in total. Backed up here with a single deck gunner and a single carronade with some depth guard in reserve. Depth guard are kind of like a sweeper in football. If somebody gets through all your midfield defenses, they're the thing that you push up. I really wouldn't recommend putting depth guard in your front line. What happens there is they get focused down and killed extremely quickly because they are 4,900 HP against 8,000 HP on deckhand mobs, which, yeah, they have more armor and melee defense and hunger, but at the end of the day, if they're being spirit leeched or focused with armor-piercing missiles, it's not going to discriminate in terms of the HP. They will die very quickly. So we got Noctilus up on the big Colossus, which is very risky against bolt thrower spam, and unfortunately, he brought the bolt thrower spam. It doesn't mean you lose, of course, but just means you have to be a little bit cautious with your positioning and, make sure to keep them topped off. So for Anticity's build, he's got the Canade Assassin, a Supreme Sorceress of Fire on foot or horse. Horse, it looks like. Got the Black Guard, triple Dark Shard, triple Bolt Thrower, and a bunch of Dark Riders. And the Dark Riders are basically here just to chase down Scurvy Dogs, because Scurvy Dogs are the answer against these tools that Vampire Coast really has, right? Carronades typically don't trade well against Bolt Throwers and things like that. So this being the case, we are going to be advancing forward. The Bombers and Handguns, I immediately see that I cannot win a ranged trade against triple Bolt Thrower, not with one cannon. And I mean, maybe with the Deck Gunner, Noctilus plus a cannon, focusing them down one at a time, maybe. But that's still a tall order because the Deck Gunners, to reach them, would have to get like up here, which puts me into the kill box of his infantry and a lot of very sensitive pressure points. So we'll see how that goes. So at this point, considering he has the mobile advantage, I pull back the Scurvy Dogs to my battle line, and my Bombers are being focused pretty badly here. Granted, it's not like it's a one-sided trade because the Black Guard are getting blasted by Noctilus and the cannon, and we are damaging his elite troops, which, as far as getting value equivalent to the Bombers, it'd probably be about 40% off the Black Guard would be like, one Bomber's worth of value. So we are trading okay. And here you can see that the Deck Gunner's able to rip some nice shots here into the Supreme Sorceress, although the dreaded Fireball is going to be coming in. And like always, that thing basically just goes into snipe cannon pieces, and there you go. That is why you bring Fireball. Spirit Leech can work as well, but Fireball like outright kills the cannon quickly, whereas Spirit Leech is a little bit more fickle. So seeing that all his cav were on the flanks, I see cavalry here, I see cavalry over here. I send the Scurvy Dogs on a bit of a mission impossible. It's very risky. And Anticity closes the gap really quickly, but if he didn't close that gap, I could have had dogs running amok amongst his archers. So very good play to him for sure. Testing his micro there in the front, he certainly passed that test with flying colors. So continuing to go after my Bombers. By killing the Bombers, it does take the pressure off his infantry and allows him to really advance up and cause some serious problems. Noctilus, though, is really making these Dark Elf infantry pay the troll toll, and I think he does feel this, and now he's going to be pushing up with the Black Guard and the Dark Shards, and suddenly there's going to be a lot of pressure coming on my forces, but the Bombers are still there. 75 models here and 71 right there, so they're going to be able to get up and do some damage. In the meantime, the zombie pirate handgun mobs are blasting into the Black Guard, which certainly felt pretty good. Dark Shards, I would imagine, will finish off my Bombers before I'm able to kind of pile those guys in. So looking around the map, we got some cav on this side kind of hanging out, waiting for some entry points into my army. And the Bombers, even though they are, not doing much, they're still halting the advance, right? So they're serving a bit of a purpose there. And the handgun mobs are really pounding into the Black Guard. Both of them are pretty damaged, one from Noctilus, one from the handguns, but now the pressure really is going to be coming in as these Slaanesh Harvesters get ready to party. And I think all 3 Bolt Throwers, you can see them moving up, are going to be switching to start working on either Noctilus or my artillery piece. I can't quite remember. Oh, actually the Deck Gunners, which is also a good choice. So Harvesters moving in now. They're going to be jumping onto my handguns. I got some Scurvy Dogs waiting in the wings, a little bit slow to react to that, but the Scurvy Dogs should be pushing up and attacking these guys. Granted, we have overlapping firepower, so you can see even with that, I'm going to be sending the Scurvy Dogs into his back line and then using the handgun mobs in the back to overlap and help support that position. Another Fireball coming in from the Sorceress, who is quite damaged. I would say as far as the bounce of power goes, we're maybe slightly ahead, but doesn't mean a whole lot. Now that the Dark Shards are in, a lot of pressure is going to start pouring onto my army, and things could get a little bit hog wild. Nice burning head there from Anticity, probably going to be roasting that handgun mob outright. It literally hits the entire unit. Negative 76 leadership, that might be enough to just break them. And here comes some Dark Riders and pressure pieces, and my halberd's a little bit out of position, but you can see they're going to move up to protect that, which he'll shut down the cannon for a moment, but the halberds should be able to kind of at least defend it there. So Black Guard are both in pretty bad shape. Handguns that were able to survive are rallied here, and now there is going to be an advent of some Dark Riders pushing in. So Noctilus will be blasting a couple of them with his big old arm cannon. Also be engaging in melee, and we should be able to rout those guys off almost instantly, which will feel quite good. Another Burning Head going in. If you are playing against Vampire Coast, Burning Head is one of your best friends. He did a really nice play there. He sent in the Canade Assassin, which forced my handguns to pile in, and then from there he Burning Headed when they're all bunched up. It pretty much one-shots them, so very, very well played there. So the cannon is stable. We didn't lose any cannon pieces. The Depth Guard are trying to protect what they can, but they're a little bit slow, obviously. Count Noctilus living that hard knock life here, trying to tear out off these Dark Riders, and dropping zombie summons back here. You can see we did summon some deck end mobs, which are going to be pushing into the Dark Shards, but the big thing is I haven't been able to get my Doggos back here to really shut down those artillery pieces, which certainly doesn't feel good. And now you can see all 3 bolt throwers, I believe, are finally shooting at Noctilus. I think they were shooting at my deck gunners, which are now dead. The deck gunners did get focused down by the bolt throwers and then also by a single cavalry charge, which was quite nasty. So, balance of power, I think, has ebbed a little bit in the favor of the Dark Elves. And Dark Shards, when they are able to shoot, man oh man, they pack a punch. Huge AP, easily cutting through that 75 armor, and forcing me back into a bit of a defensive posture. Here it's a decent situation. Depth Guard, of course. Web of Shadows will do some damage, but the Depth Guard should be able to kill or at least break this Canade Assassin here. He only has 400 HP, and they hit very hard against such targets, and you can see now he's at negative 40. That bad boy is running for the hills. And the first thing you want to do with Depth Guard, is pull them back to defend the goal, right? This is the goal back here, the last bastion of my artillery. You don't want to overextend and chase down those targets, because then you're really going to be hurting. Bolt Thrower is still really doing good work. They're almost out of ammo, which when I saw that, I was like, oh, Anakin, I'm so weak. I must hold a little longer against the Bolt Throwers. And we got 2,400 HP here, just trying to get out of range. Cannons are going to be returning fire at whatever they can. But man, oh man, the Dark Shards are pressing the inexorable pressure of those elite archers. Well, I guess they're not really elite. They're kind of like chaff archers, but they pack the punch of an elite unit, that's for sure. I mean, and now my Depth Guard rushing in to try and protect the Dread Spears, but I realized not protect them, but protect them from advancing, or stop them from advancing. I realized the error of my ways, and I pull back. I'm like, nope, I do not want any part of that. I summon some pistol mobs here to try and buffer out these guys, and it looks like there is going to be another Burning Head coming in, which is I would have to say this replay should just be called Burning Head in all caps, because man, oh man, it's been doing good. Wears down the halberds, but the riders are going to be trying to get in, but the halberd's not the best mass, but, with the Depth Guard there and the halberds then piling in, I should be able to stop them, and this is still a pretty close game. He's about to run out of ammo here, and if we are able to, snipe the Supreme Sorceress and keep Noctilus alive through the Bolt Thrower fire, oh, brutal damage going down on her. Man, that is a lot. She's at negative 13, probably going to break. That potentially gets rid of the fireballs. Those damn Bolt Throwers, man, still doing so much damage. I'm at negative 20 right now. Depth Guard able to clean up the backfield. Fireball coming in, nice one. I can't believe that character didn't break. And it looks like a very, very good fireball with the backing of the Slaanesha's Harvesters is able to drag down the Hard Knock Life. With that, the Druki do pull ahead. Halberds here fighting the Gunnery White. I've got a couple handgun mobs here, and the Cannon and Depth Guard are kind of my last bastion of troops. So I was like, okay, his Lord's almost dead. If I can run out of ammo and somehow compromise those damn Dark Shards, maybe my Depth Guard could bump and grind this one out. A little action, a little R&B right there. But the Black Guard do, of course, have really, really good combat stats. So they are probably going to outtrade these Depth Guard back here, which is kind of cutting off my last lifeline. On that same note, we do actually break the Sorceress with a little bit of pistol fire from the Gunnery White or rifle fire before he kind of gets surrounded by all these units. And the other unit of Black Guard piling in, doing some great work. And that is pretty much going to be it for my army. Very well played to Anticity. Some solid clinical Dark Elf play. Bolt Throwers carry the day for sure. I didn't have any way of shutting him down, which really kind of makes me rethink this build a little bit. I mean, I still like the build, but against triple Bolt Thrower, I honestly think you just put Noctilus on foot and just get more stuff. Or you go like Luther Harkin and just juke the Bolt Throwers. That's another way of doing it. But, the Colossus, I think, was the big loser for me. Even though he did good, 2,300 value, not bad at all, right? But the problem being is that it just gave him such a juicy target, like 1,000, 1,300, 1,000, because, yeah, you need that for the late game, right? Like, in that situation, the game was very, close towards the end. If I had a healthy Lord on ground, maybe I would have been okay. Noctilus on foot would have been hard to kill. It gives you AP. He has more magic to use. But the Colossus was a gamble, and it didn't pay off. He really punished me for that with his Bolt Throwers. And also, his Burning Heads were immaculate that game. Really, really great stuff. But yeah, I still like the build. Probably just go for, Foot Noctilus, and then maybe, honestly, cut the Bombers, too. I mean, they did buffer a little bit, but I find they just get, I don't know. I'm not maybe I got to use them in the secondary line. Let's actually go to the drawing board. I love Anticity's build. It's awesome. The Black Guard are really cool, too. The Bolt Throwers are incredibly strong. It's just a really cool build, and he played really well. So props to him. Make sure to check out his channel. If you guys haven't seen it, be in the comment section below. And now we will be jumping on over to do a little bit of theory crafting for that matchup on what I might change under that circumstance. So if we go to Coast, all hail the mighty. Here we go. That's Chaos. Coast versus Dark Elves. Yeah, so we take him off the Colossus. We keep that. Maybe we drop you guys. Get a couple deck dropper bomber bats. Harpies are a thing, but if they bring harpies, you can cover fire. So maybe we bring these two. Because then you can just like dodge the shots, and when they start to penetrate into your lines, you use them like a sweeper as well, which I really like. So here the bolt throwers can shoot the deck gunners. They can shoot the carronade. But I mean, honestly, it's not that big of a deal. We can also press up with this build. We don't have to like sit back as much. I'm almost thinking like maybe we just cut the carronade out and get a little bit more aggressive, right? I do like these. Do I want any like fell bats or anything for disruption? I think 2 scurvy dogs is enough. It's a fair amount to micro already. So yeah, the 4 handguns are nice. We could go double deck gunner. Or even we could upgrade. Dark Elves do have a lot of magic though. They have like Slaanesha's Harvesters and Soul Stealers, Fireballs, all sorts of nasty stuff. So I don't know if the Ethereal upgrade is worth it. Although 245 range could go like this. And then from there, I wish I could get like 2 more zombies. I guess I could get 1 more basic zombie like this. And the Gunnery White, you see, we don't need him anymore because basically it's for the Colossus and the cannons. Like, I think something like this could be quite good. We could get like 1 Mourngold too as a sweeper unit. That could actually be pretty good. Yeah, you know, but no cannons, it's going to force you to march forward. But if they have bolt throwers, you're not giving them too many good targets here. I guess the deck gunners are pretty juicy targets for sure. But deck gunners are really nice. Really, really nice. Yeah, 245 range. I mean, you can also invocation them and whatnot too. And you're going to be pressing with a lot of stuff in this build this time with this, you know, the variants here. As far as abilities, we want the Hunger. We want the Ross Moondial. So we can't really afford to cut anything here. We could even get more Scurvy Doggos. Or Sirens. No, I don't like Sirens that much against Druki. Although having 1 Siren might be annoying. Might be quite annoying for them. But how are you going to kill the... Like, Dark Shards? Actually, Dark Shards have relatively short range. I think they're like 125 or something. So handguns can actually trade with them. Yeah, you're fine there because you have 145. You'll get like 2 volleys on them before they even return fire. Plus, you can Wraith Storm them and use your bombers to pressure them too. Okay, I'm kind of liking the direction of this build. Part of me is like, do we get 1 Siren? Or even 2 Sirens? So since we got an extra deck gunner, no, you know what? Maybe the 1 deck gunner is fine. Oh, man, almost 2 Sirens could be interesting. So Dark Elves, as far as magic, you have Fireballs and Burning Heads, which are pretty... I mean, most armies will have that against your Sirens. But they get Harvesters. Doomfire Warlocks in general are not super common. They don't have any damp AP on their... Yeah, you know what? That could actually be pretty cool. Like double Siren. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're fine there. We might need to cut something. But this feels like a cool build, actually. It's just like a slow push build, which could be pretty strong. We could even cut the Deck Gunner to take away all our sensitive targets and go with a 1 last... I think you can have 5 handgunners. I'll have to check banner rolls. But if you can't, you basically could just go for like a couple pistol mobs. You could like downgrade, but if you can't have a 5th handgunner, you could honestly just do like a slow push build like this. It actually feels pretty good. I like this. I'm gonna save this. So Vampire Coast versus Dark Elves. I think it'll catch them off guard. Wait, did that not save? I don't know. Oh, I put Vampire Coast. I usually just do Coast. Okay, so let's do. So save the build. Coast versus Dark Elves. Yes, there we go. That'll override our old one. We'll give it a try. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this bad boy. And my friends, we'll see you on the other side. Take care.